And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our great shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture every single week, right there for you wherever you get your podcasts. Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, of course, the great folks at LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out Reclining Ox 1947 below. And boy, just like the Lakers, he needs some rest because he's been working as well. He's there for you at LakersBall.com. Plus, his company that he's working for, he had some work tonight. And you can go ahead and give him some more work today if you're in the Southern California area and you want your lawn transformed into something much more special than it is today at Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Plus, our good friends at Lakerholics.com. You know, Laker Tom is kind of bummed right now, and so is Jamie Sweet. Jamie Sweet was also part of our snack pack earlier this afternoon. Go ahead and support them today at Lakerholics.com. Plus, our good friend Stone Hansen, who was a major part of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break coverage earlier today on today's game. Go ahead and check out his awesome show, his awesome podcast, as he and the guys talk NBA draft at the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. All these great things you need to go ahead and check out. Plus, if you could share, subscribe, please subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with all of our great shows, whether it's the Lakers Snack Pack, also as well, MagicMan in the morning, or late night with the Lakers Fast Break, Lakers History 101, NBA Observations, and more. Go ahead and check out what we're doing today by subscribing to us on YouTube. And if you could do all that, it is sincerely appreciated. I'll tell you what, coming off the great victory last night in overtime at Utah, I had already seen the signs and had said last night that the NBA schedulers were not being very kind to the Lakers, putting the Lakers on a back-to-back, giving the Clippers 4 days off, heading into tonight's very important matchup on national TV on ESPN. Doesn't seem very wise in retrospect by the NBA schedulers to do something like that. Well, it turned out to be the case as the Lakers came in early this morning, flying in after a snowstorm in Salt Lake City, finally coming in late, having a late arrival. Most people expected LeBron and AD to sit down for tonight's game. We were getting D'Lo, and also as well, we were getting Mo Bamba back available tonight. D'Lo played. Mo Bamba was a coaching DNP tonight. But I will say, though, I am going to give credit for whatever happened. I understand what the outcome ultimately was, but I am going to give all the credit in the world to AD and LeBron. Nobody, absolutely nobody would have said anything different about LeBron and AD had they sit down tonight. But they understand the ramifications of what could have been taking place for tonight if the Lakers would have won, and a fifth seed in the Western Conference could have been there for the taking. But you saw tonight, LeBron and AD tried to gut it out, and the Lakers themselves tried to gut it out. But from the get-go, from the first half, it was all Clippers, just too much energy, too much days off for them, and too little time off for the Los Angeles Lakers, as the Los Angeles Lakers just didn't have the energy, couldn't match anything at all as far as the Clippers, as far as the energy, as far as defending on the perimeter. And even a second half comeback fell short because the Lakers, again, just not enough energy to go ahead and defend out in the perimeter, as some key shots by Norman Powell, Bones Highland from outside in the fourth quarter helped give them a unfortunate for the Lakers 125-118 victory. It is the 11th victory in the row for the Clippers against the Lakers, but anybody who's out there is saying, "Oh, this should be a gauge of what you're talking about for the Clippers and Lakers," is sadly mistaken because there was not a fair and balanced thing as far as the schedule is concerned. You had one tired team going against a relatively fresh team for this time of the season, so it's kind of unfair. And the NBA schedulers, to you, I'm giving the middle finger to because I'm telling you right now, I am so pissed off at you for doing it this way, especially if you want a quality NBA product to show on ESPN on national television. You don't do this to two teams. Either team, whether it's the Clippers or the Lakers, you give at least some type of close proximity on how many days off you give these teams. Just very ill sighted by the league. But here today to talk about today's game, a gallant effort, to say the least, to try and get back into this game. And again, LeBron and AD get all the credit in the world. Good man indeed. He is the Magic Man in the morning host. It is Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here, my friend. You can see I'm pretty ticked off at the NBA schedule, and it absolutely okay. I know Joe was saying, "Oh, it's not fatigue, fatigue." You could see from the get go, the legs were tired. The legs were fresh on the Clippers side. The legs were tired on the Lakers side, and you could see that was the difference in tonight's game.
Yeah, 100% Gerald. I agree. As much as we want to point to a few other factors. The point was they got in this morning at around 3 a.m. and they just had no energy. There was no lift whatsoever. There was no kinetic energy. They couldn't get anything going. They were playing defensively like they were all in wet cement.
Yeah.
There was no communication. Everybody was dogging it at one point. Um, Gerald, just for perspective's sake, LeBron finished with 33, 8 and 7. It looks like a good game, but that first half was his worst half as a Laker. He was 1 of 4, had 3 points and 4 turnovers. He was not playing well at all at one point. He's also the only starter who is in a minus. Every other starter was a plus. Davis was a plus 9. Vanda was a plus 12. Russell was a plus 8. Reeves was a plus 9. LeBron and everybody on the bench was a minus 10 or worse. So again, like you said, Gerald, it was a combination of the schedule, but like everyone gets the same kind of schedule.
This late in the season?
Yeah, yeah, it's just one of those funky things, man. It happens. One of those peculiarities. Like I get it. All the conspiracy theorists and tinfoil hats will be out, but it's just one of those randomized, like like very very rare things that happened, and we got caught, and they popped us. But again, 125, 118, the score looks a lot closer than the game really was. It wasn't really close. Um, we got it down to what, 9?
No, we got it
Not
down to 6.
okay, 6. 6 at one point, but it didn't really feel that way. It didn't feel like we were in it at all. I'm very, very disappointed in the effort more so than the result. I wasn't sure if we were going to win or not, but I thought for sure the energy would be a bit better. But they were just dogging it, Gerald. They were just dogging it.
I'm not upset at the effort of the Lakers. You got to give them all the credit in the world for trying to go ahead, and LeBron and AD were still in there until very late in the fourth quarter. I'm giving them all the credit in the world, Magic Man. They deserve it because, despite the mistakes that were made by the coaching staff, despite the fact that I have a lot of anger towards the NBA schedulers on how they played this out, you got to give all the credit in the world. LeBron and AD could have sat down this game, man. They could have been sat down, and nobody would have said an ill word to them otherwise.
I
Yeah,
would have.
you know what, Gerald? You
Okay,
know what?
Joe would have.
Like we were talking on playback. We're willing to say yes, they toughed it out. But look at the bench, man. There's no excuse for this. Rui 1 of 5, Gabriel 3 of 6, Brown 2 of 5, Schroeder 1 of 6. Like Beasley was 3 of 4, and Ham took him out. Like it was just It was a comedy of errors from him again tonight. Rotation mess ups, leaving guys in too long, not taking them out. Why the hell do you have LeBron and AD in there with 4.5 minutes left and you're down by 19? Made no sense. So yeah, I'm with you, Gerald. I'm with LeBron and AD. They're the ones with the injuries right now. But you needed more from D'Lo. D'Lo was 6 of 13, 2 of 6 from three. He had
And he's the
15
one that had
points
rest.
at 7 assists. Yeah, you needed more from him. Like I said yesterday, I was looking for him to get like a 30 piece. If he got a 30 piece
Yep.
tonight, the Lakers probably win this game, even with the tired legs. So again, hats off to LeBron and AD. You're right, Joe,
Yep.
100%. But the rest of the guys, I needed to see more. The bench was disappointing tonight, and yes, squarely looking at D'Angelo Russell. You're sitting out knick-knack injuries here and there, and then when you're coming back, it's a cup of tea and toast. It's no man, it's not like that. You wanna stay here. You wanna earn your dollars. You gotta show up.
And they tried to, and they made their best effort. But you could see in that first half, especially with LeBron, you were already calling it one of LeBron's worst game, if not his worst game ever in that first half. Or at least let's just say it's his worst first half that you've ever seen him play. So I think a lot of that could be attributed to just the fact that he did not have the energy in his legs to do so.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. I'm not sure what he did at halftime. Obviously, got some B12 or something.
Well,
Yeah,
many
because
people
he.
in the playback were suggesting it's the same cocaine that that was flowing around the Lakers fast break supposedly.
Yeah, that might have been what was it, but something tells me that LeBron is straight edge. He did something where for them there was more energy in the second half. They were more spry, but like you said, Gerald, it was just they had to empty the tank, and we see this way too often now in the NBA. And it two things can be true at once, right? The
It almost
truth.
looks bad on the Clippers because they weren't able to blow out they had every opportunity to blow out the Lakers and they couldn't get it done.
Yeah, they were up by 19, 20, 21. They could never get it to 25 or
25. They got it to
25.
20
Yeah,
or
and you
24, 24. Sorry.
okay, and you only won by 7. Yeah, so like to me, two things can be true at once. Yeah, 25-point leads aren't what they used to be.
As
That's
Joe has
true.
indicated.
Yes, but at the same time, there's something there's something about the game of basketball where it's not like in other sports where if you're behind by a large margin, there's something about coming from behind and coming back that seems to ignite a team. Basketball is a little different. We see it now. I'm sure there's a correlation and causation, but some teams just run out of gas. Like they're down by 25 and they get it within 8, but then another team goes on a run and all of a sudden you're down by 14 and the game's over. So like again, two things can be true at once. 25-point leads aren't what they are anymore. That's true, but again, there's something to be said about teams just running out of gas in this sport.
Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do unfortunately fall short despite a second half comeback. Very valiant effort, especially coming off a back to back where they did get in late, but they do unfortunately lose 125 to 118. Also, here today is a relaxing man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at LakersBall.com and Simblades with a Y.com. It is Joe Soro, and Joe looking very relaxed as you indicated that you were. Your thoughts? I think the Lakers right now are very envious of you because they need to go ahead and take a day off and relax, just like you're doing right now.
Well, I find it funny that a fat guy is talking about some guy's double chin on the chat room. I thought that was kind of funny.
All right, all
Um,
right, all right, all right.
the today's game was two things I noticed in this game. I know the fatigue played a part in it. I can buy that to some degree, but there's a deficiency in adjustments to adversity that Darvin Ham has not seemed to solved or solve. Anytime you see Wendy and Gabriel at the corner for a three,
Yeah.
that's an offensive ineptness, and just it's uncalled for. It's one of those things where I always think back at Phil Jackson looking at players and going, what are you doing over there? Like I keep thinking that, right? Um, and the other part is the Clippers play. They I mean, Norman Powell looked like Michael Jordan tonight, and he got every freaking call like he was James Harden in 2018. So at some point, you've got to create something. You got to create. You got to be able to work off of what's going on, and fatigue plays a part when it's a game in January or in February where it's not against some team that whoever they're playing. The bottom line is this was not one of those games where fatigue needed to play a part in it, especially considering everyone except LeBron is pretty darn young. This isn't some 2019 I'm sorry 2022 team where everyone was older than dirt. This is a young team. They should be able to play back-to-back games without being fatigued. And a lot of the issues were really just not being prepared to adjust to what the Clippers were doing, which is it's 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 puzzling considering you've gotten a good idea of who they are. They've been beating the crap out of you here for what, 2 years? At what point are you going to adjust to this? This is whether they've played on a back to back, whether they haven't. They lost the same way when they had rest, and the Clippers were on a back to back. So what now? What's the excuse now? The excuse is gone. You should not get blown out by the Clippers every damn time you play them. That's my beef for tonight's game. You should have at least been somewhat competitive, and you weren't. And yeah, the Sean was right about that. That don't pay attention to that score. That score was deceiving. They got their butts whipped all game long. The Clippers took their foot off the gas, and Lakers started making a couple shots. But even when they looked like they were making a run, you'd have some Powell would come in or Bones would come in and shoot a three and pretty much end the run there. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Honestly, I'm kind of over the regular season at this point. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that the Lakers win the next two games and the Warriors um, uh, lose one game, and the Lakers would be sitting at the sixth seed, which I think is a good position to be in, considering who they'll end up playing. Because I think it'll be a lot easier to maybe get their run in here at the beginning of it against a team like Sacramento Kings that are not experienced in this setup. And even if they get blown out by them, well, okay, well, the Lakers have some major acquisitions they need to acquire here in the offseason. They're going to need a backup center that knows how to play defense, and they're going to need to have some kind of identity uh, going in the next season with some stability here that they've kind of gotten since the trade deadline.
Alex says you look high.
I don't do drugs.
It's high on life indeed. But once again, the Lakers unfortunately lose 125 to 118.
But thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. I am very relaxed because that's just how I am.
There you go. That's just how he is indeed. But Sean, let me ask you this. With the Lakers having LeBron in there and AD in there until literally halfway through that final minute of the fourth quarter, uh, it's just kind of disappointing to see them, because like Dick Joe says, this game was pretty much not in doubt, even in that second half when the Lakers tried to bring it close and get it close to about 6, 7 points. It was still kind of questioning me, in regards to why the Darvin Ham was still trying to keep those two in the game. I mean, you got to sit them down, and you're down 10 points or so, right around there. This game is pretty much not in doubt. I don't think they're going to go on a 10-0 run like was gone on to them last night in Utah. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Did Darvin Ham play LeBron and AD too long, considering the kind of tenuous foot injuries they currently have?
Uh, that's a great question, Gerald. I was just looking through some tweets, and Mike Trudell said that after the game, Ham said that he played AD and LeBron as long as he could under the circumstances, and he couldn't play them any longer than that. Well, I mean, that's kind of you know robbing Peter to pay Paul there. AD played 32 minutes. LeBron played 35. Um, you know, it's easy to look in hindsight now and say, "Oh, well, they should have sat. They should have sat." Shout out to Dr. Nukes. Dr. Nukes is a great follower of ours. He was basically disagreeing with us. He was saying he had thought that the wise move would have been for the Lakers to sit AD and LeBron tonight. Even looking at the eventual schedule as penciling in this as a loss. I'm with you, Gerald. I give props to LeBron and AD for showing up tonight because they could have easily tried to give it a go before game time and just said, "Yeah, we don't have it tonight. We're gonna sit."
I agree with you, my friend. And then Howard Hill's asking how many minutes LeBron and AD played tonight. LeBron played 35. Anthony Davis played 32.
Yep.
D'Angelo played 40. So he was in there for a while. Austin Reeves with 31 on the back to back. D'Angelo was the 140. He was coming in fresh off of a 2 game absence. So I think that they wanted to go ahead and see if he could get some burn. And he was +8, 15 points, 7 assists. But like you said, Sean, really hoping for a big game from him to really turn around for the team.
Yeah, Gerald, we really needed it from him. We really needed it from him. He hasn't been available for a couple of really important games, and we've dropped them. I was hoping, if he comes in tonight reinvigorated, refreshed, he drops a 30 bag on them, and I thought we were looking pretty good because we even if we got 80% of what AD and LeBron can give us, if you got that output from D'Angelo, I think it would have pushed us over because when you look at the team stats, there's not a big difference. 14 turnovers, they out rebounded them, they had more assists, but like you said, Gerald, it's just they couldn't get their legs underneath them to start out the game and just to end the game. It was kind of burning the candle at both ends yesterday with Utah. You wanted to play that game with them. Well, you know what? That OT win might have cost you a win here.
Absolutely. But Joe, let me ask you this. Getting back to you, my friend. Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 125 to 118. The Lakers are down to 41 and 39, still seventh place in the Western Conference. Golden State is at Sacramento on Friday and at Portland on Sunday. While the Lakers have Phoenix on Friday, we don't know what the status is. That'll be on a second game of back to back, so we don't know who's playing in that one. And then on Sunday, they have a return rematch against Utah at home. Your thoughts on how this could line up for the Lakers possibly getting a sixth seed? And if they do, that would be the best things, all things concerned, because everybody seems to be pointing every single team right around that 4th to 8th slot in the Western Conference, all seemingly are indicating that they want to play against Sacramento in that first round.
Yeah, I want to commend AD and LeBron for playing tonight because it'd be only you. We would lose credibility in our commentary here if we're criticizing them for sitting games that are important
Yeah.
and then they play in this game. To some degree, Sean is right that the OT game might have cost them this game. I might have thought that if this wasn't the continued result with this Clipper team, it just doesn't matter. These guys have some kind of next gear type thing where they just play us very well. They just happen to get us at a vulnerable position. But the LeBron and AD should be commended. I know it sounds kind of dumb because you're supposed to, if you're healthy enough to play, you should be playing. But considering the landscape of the NBA now, I'm gonna support LeBron and AD for playing tonight and playing as long as they did, because that's what I want to see. That's what we want to see. You want to have that mentality where we're gonna play until it's over, because that will resonate in the playoffs. That will resonate in the locker room. Hey, we're gonna play until we lose. So congratulations on that kind of mindset. The Lakers have slowly improved that tenacity as the weeks have gone on. And as far as what's going to happen in the next two games, Lakers look like I mean, we're going to be in the play-in here for sure. Whether it's going to be a 6, 7, or 8 seed is going to be really the determining factor of what's going to, what the end result's going to be. If they lose to Phoenix, they might not even get a 7, which is not good, because 7 keeps you in that. In my opinion, I'd rather play Memphis than Denver. But then again, I don't know if that's any better. But the Lakers need to play the next two games like their playoff games, playoff game 7s. Win those two games. Hope that the Golden State Warriors lose one game, and then at that point, you get the 6th seed. You're in a very good position to do some things. But my worry is right now is the leadership from the coaching at this point. I don't know how. Well, I sort of know what's going to happen, and it's not good. Darvin Ham's going to get out coached the deeper they go, should they win, and that's a really big concern right now.
Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 125 to 118. Sean, I want to hit you up with this. It's so funny because Gary is trying to troll on LeBron's. I see this stuff all the time on LeBron. LeBron haters, LeBron haters. If you don't like LeBron, you don't like LeBron. But and he's not the same player that he was 10 years ago. I'll give you that. But my God, Sean, 29, 8, and 7. He's 39 years old. Outside of an NFL quarterback, tell me any other 39-year-old in any sport outside of driving and racing. Maybe you can go ahead and throw UFC and boxing in there. Maybe some of those older boxers have found that kind of success. Tell me how many 39-year-olds have found this kind of success when they're available and on the court. Tell me. How
You,
many?
there's only one. Gerald, you mentioned his name. It's LeBron James.
I mean, very few at his age have ever achieved at this level.
In this sport, that's correct. Yes.
In any NBA, for at least, yeah.
Yeah. There. As far as
well, if it's steroids, he's doing a good job of hiding it. That's a write-off.
You know what? What did Barry Bonds say about steroids, Gerald? Yeah, steroids are great. You still got to hit the ball.
Yeah, but that's, first of all, he didn't do steroids. The other is, when you give Barry Bonds, who was already a Hall of Famer before the 90s were over, an added bonus to his unbelievable ability, you turn him into a legitimate superhero. So that's just that's just, what is it, 224 walks in 2002? Oh, I'm
that
sorry,
was amazing.
2004.
I saw that, man. It just the
224 walks.
How many total bases did he get in that year?
I'd
have to look at that one, but
that was obscene.
Well, regardless, I didn't mean to divert the conversation, but the fact of the matter is that whatever he's putting into his body is a conversation for another podcast. He's still the one who's got to get up every morning, do whatever he does, however he prepares, however he recovers, and he still comes back, Gerald. And yeah, he looked like crap the first 16 minutes tonight. But the next 19 were pretty good. They were pretty good. He almost made up for it.
Yeah.
So there's no but the only other player I could really kind of compare him to as far as like major sports is other than Brady is probably Chris Chelios in the NHL. He played till he was 45. Um, that would probably be the only other guy. But as far as the NBA goes, it's LeBron and everybody else. He set a standard that will never be matched. It will never be matched. Maybe somebody gets to a point where they work as hard as LeBron does, and they put as much money into their body as he does, and they invest as much time and effort into sleep and recovery, but nobody will ever eclipse what he's done. Whatever it is, Gerald, he's found the formula where it seems like he doesn't age.
Well, again, you don't see the same thing. We've talked about this last season, especially because there were games where he looked like he was 10 years younger. And then there were games that he came in off of a back to back or, not very little rest where he did look tired. He did not look like he was the same player. And that first half, he did not look like the LeBron that we've come to know. Let's put it out there. But it's, simple fatigue. You play off a back to back and overtime. That's what you're going to get from most of these players. You're not going to get the same kind of energy. But to tell me these so-called knowledgeable NBA fans at times that are out there, and you know who you are, that just want to hate on LeBron, you're going to continue to hate on LeBron. You could tell me that Kobe and also Magic, and you could also tell me Michael Jordan were so much better at that age. The numbers don't lie. And you can always tell me it's a different game back then. There was more physical, the whole 9 yards, blah, 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 blah. You can always tell me that. But you know what? You know the truth. And so do I. LeBron is having one of the best 38 or 35 plus years, since he's reached 35 and beyond that careers and anybody has ever had. Anybody. And, people are going to hate to hate. And it's
Well,
just
it
that.
comes down to this when it because I've seen this happen a lot, and
But I won't talk to you about the bald spot. That's a mark. That's all.
well, the
I won't fight you on that one.
it makes, sorry
Or the
folks if you
beard.
guys are offended by this, but what it does is it makes you feel better about yourself to say that someone is achieving unprecedented things. It makes you feel better that, oh well, he's probably cheating, and I'm not saying most don't. He's usually reserved for those who are in the performance enhancement business, right? Which is physical, aesthetically, bodybuilding or fitness models. I know that a lot of those guys are all on something, and I get it. But to say that someone's doing steroids in the NBA, call me naive. Steroids isn't really, I know it's known as a recovery, but in basketball, your joints and your ligaments are the most important asset you can have in the game. And steroids, if you know anything about steroids, those are detriments to ligaments and joints at some point. So you don't really get the benefit of that in basketball as much as you would in baseball, where you're stationary most of the time or sitting down, and you're not really, you're not bending your ankles and doing things like that on a regular basis.
And
Football, obviously.
I'll just say this, Joe, and I'll just say this because Stephen Curry has now reached the 35-year-old point where he's 35 and now going to be probably doing some pretty good things of his own over the course of the next few years. But he'll also have those points in the season where he'll get injured. He'll be out for 15, 20 games. You see this similar sort of pattern with all these older players, Kobe, MJ, all these older players. They all hit that point where they can give you what they can give you, but they can't give it as much as they gave it before. And to me, I think that if LeBron averaging 29, 8, and 7 in his 38, 39-year-old season, I think that's pretty damn good. I understand he's not as available as much as we'd like. You contribute that to the age, you contribute to other things, but you know, Curry is going to be reaching these same type of ages and reaching these same type of numbers here in the not too distant future. And I don't think there will be half as much as hate drawn his way, as we see right now with LeBron.
So if you think that LeBron is on some performance enhancing drugs, I guess it wouldn't be too hard for him to find a doctor in Germany, France, Mexico, Brazil, wherever, that creates a PED that maybe works for him specifically on what he wants and can avoid the norms of what usual PEDs do. Sure, I wouldn't put it past. If it happened, I wouldn't be surprised. Same thing with Tom Brady. Wouldn't be surprised if he was in on something. But at some point, with the way that the world is, I think you'd probably find out by now. But that's just me.
I get very irritated at this type of conversation because for for a long time there was speculation and innuendo that Secretariat was on drugs, Gerald, because we know how corrupt horse racing is. When they
Now,
did
absolutely, I've got to question every single timeout because of how corrupt it is right now and how many scandals that there's been in recent times with horse racing.
when they did the autopsy on Secretariat, they found that his heart had was a quarter bigger than the average size horse. So his organs, especially his heart, was able to absorb more oxygen and put out more than the average animal. And Gerald, for decades and for years and years, there were stories about Secretariat being on drugs, and he was just a gifted once in a lifetime, once in a and people can't give this to LeBron still after 20 years, after 20 years, after 4 championships, after all the MVPs, and you're still trying to petty us with this petty bullshit about him being on steroids
Because
or
it makes
being
them
on
feel better. It makes them feel like, well, I can't.
you can't see if you can't see yep you have to be able to look at a work of art and just appreciate it for being a work of art instead of trying to look at all the small imperfections, and that's what all it's a bigger point about society too, Joe, because it's not as if a dog can have his day anymore. No, you gotta make sure that all right, go ahead. I'm done. I'm done. I'm just
Look,
it's it
just look. If they look, I told you there's a massive insecurity issue in society in general, and it makes them feel better to say, "Oh, he's on something. That's why he is who he is, or who or she, or whatever." Right? And then my response to that is, if you're getting that backlash, tell them to lick taint.
Okay, that's one way you could put it. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose
Yes,
125 to
Intel,
118.
your comment was funny. I
Yes.
got a chuckle out of that one.
So are you on the couch just to clarify things in the
I'm on my love
car?
seat. What couch?
Okay, well, all right. That's a joke waiting to happen right
I have a
there. But what?
throne in my living room where I sit in. It's where I sit when I'm chilling.
I have not, John. I have not. But I will say though, I want to talk about before we head on out the game upcoming on Friday against Phoenix. Magic Man, the Phoenix is going to be on the other end of this where they have a back to back and will be meeting up Friday on with the Lakers after playing Thursday night. Your thoughts? If they win Thursday night, there's really no incentive for them to go ahead and continue playing their starters unless they want to just give them reps. Do you see a thing where the Lakers could go ahead, come in with one day off? Because I'm assuming Darvin Ham is going to at least give them a day off where they can go in with somewhat rest, going in, facing off against a team that may not be playing all of its players on Friday night?
yeah, I think that's what I'm leaning towards, Gerald. That's what I think is going to end up happening. The tell will be tomorrow. It'll be interesting. If I think if Katie and Book are playing on Thursday, they're not going to be playing on Friday, and like the reverse is true as well. If they're not playing Thursday, there's no reason to assume they would play Friday. Like that doesn't make any sense. So
Mhm.
I feel that I think tomorrow's is the litmus test for them. I think that's the last game they're going to put all 5 of their starters together, and I would expect at least Chris Paul and Kevin Durant to be resting on Friday. Um, as for us, we have to win that game, so it doesn't matter who's playing. We have to win.
Yeah.
It's if we lose, Golden State wins, and
And it,
the Knicks beat New Orleans. That's it. Golden State has the 6th seed.
but we could also fall down in the standings as well. People don't understand. The farthest we could fall is ninth, but we could still fall. No, ninth. It's actually ninth.
It's ninth now.
Yeah,
Okay.
ninth. The farthest we can fall down is ninth. So I ask you, we got to keep winning the last 2 games just to make sure we don't fall down any farther than seventh.
Yeah, we have to stay in the 7th or 8th. That they're not going to.
No, seventh, because then we wouldn't be getting a home game
No, no.
on that
So
first game. We would have to
yeah,
wait until the second time.
yeah. Which I wouldn't be too upset about that, to be honest with you. But to have to win 2 of those games when you're not at home, Gerald, would suck. So um, they got to win, man. They got to win. Like, on the plus side, what the Lakers have going for them is there's no incentivization for the Kings to throw that game. They're still in a race for Memphis for the 2 seed. Now Memphis is playing the Bucks on Friday, and they're probably going to be without the same players they were without today. So I don't think you're beating the Bucks. So Bucks beat the Grizz. That means that Sacramento is only 1.5 games out of a 2 seed. The 2 seed is huge now, especially with the plan. If you have the 2 seed, that is a whole extra playoff series where you have home court advantage. It's huge. It's monumental, especially now with the plan incorporated into the playoffs. So it's not to be taken for granted. Like, you could be 2 or 3. No, you'd rather be 2. You'd rather be 2.
Well, again, if they could get into 6, and I know that none was actually asking about that. If the Lakers do win their final 2 home games, and then also as well, Golden State slip ups, maybe in Sacramento or in Portland, and on the road, Joe, all season long, Golden State has had troubles all season long on the road. They have one of the worst records in the league on the road. Your thoughts on this? This is still a very good possibility. The Lakers could still sneak into 6.
Yeah, it would definitely lessen the loss for tonight if they can somehow get the 6. I don't think the Bucks are as favored to win that game because they just clinched the first seed. So we don't know if they're going to sit down people for the last couple games. We got to watch out for that. But I'm gonna say that the Memphis Grizzlies are likely going to stay in number 2, and then Sacramento will be at 3. Phoenix will be at 4. Right now, Lakers have to just. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go on Friday against Phoenix because when's the first time you're going to play Phoenix with Durant on there? And I'm assuming Ayton is still is Ayton going to play Friday too?
We don't know that for sure. We don't know who's
Yeah.
going to
So
play because remember,
Ayton,
it's back to they're playing on a back to back. They play tomorrow and Friday.
yeah. If they end up feeling like they got the 4th seed locked in, which it looks like they do, by tomorrow's win, then I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to sit everybody. If they do, then Lakers have a chance at beating Phoenix and finishing off in Utah or against Utah on Sunday. And then if the Warriors lose, then I don't think they'll lose to Portland even on the road. So we're going to have to hope that they lose this next game.
Well, that would be very hard to do right off. I think the team that's going to get the Bucks in the first round is going to be someone in the Eastern Conference. That'll be determined on a play-in the Eastern Conference, and I think you very well know. But again, there you go. But it is the Lakers fast break. Lakers do unfortunately lose 125 to 118. We're looking to be back tomorrow night. I think possibly looking for a late night with the Lakers fast break to go ahead and wrap things up there for Thursday. And then Friday, it all starts off with coffee in hand with MagicMan in the morning on Friday. He's going to be there. Hopefully, Joe or I will go there and be alongside him. If one of us will be awake for it, we'll try to be there for it. It is Magic Man in the morning. And then, of course, on Friday evening, we're going to go ahead and be on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. The game is on at 7 or 7:30 on Friday. Haven't checked yet. Let me go ahead and I'll
it's
check it right.
7:30. I think it's
Okay.
7:30.
7:30
It's
Pacific
12:30
time.
on Sunday.
Yeah. 7:30 on Friday and then 12:30 on Sunday. So don't forget our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break games right there for you coming up. And then, of course, the post games right here at the Lakers Fast Break, wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube, everywhere. It's been great fun. Great indeed to have everyone here. Best chat room that's out there, even though today got a little bit out of hand, a little bit crazy, but you guys are still the best chat room that's out there for the Lakers right here at Lakers Fast Break. So for Magic Man, Sean Grice, and the relaxing on his love seat, Joe Soro, this is Gerald Glassford. I want to thank you so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. Enjoy the evening, everyone. To you as well.
Night,
That's a
everyone.
write-off. Great having everyone here. John giving you a shout out. Gary even giving you a shout out too as well, even though you sent a lot of kind of the nicest stuff in the world, but still wish you a great evening and a great rest of your week. Alan, make sure everybody out there checks, everything out, what we're doing here. None, great to have you here as well. Thanks so much to our awesome chat room, and thanks so much to everybody out there watching and listening.
Alan, suck an egg.
I just said thank you, and you said suck an egg. That's not nice. That's not hospitable. Yeah. Then again, that's you. What can I say? It's not me. I didn't say suck an egg. He did. So for
it made
Magic
Sean laugh.
Yes.
That's all I
had to
care
do
about.
something. On a night like tonight, that's what you can do. Magic Man, Sean Grice, Joe Soro, thanks so much. It's Gerald Glassford, Intel Wild, Howard Hill, everyone that's been a part of what we're doing tonight. Thanks so much for being a part of what we're doing here. And we'll see you hopefully tomorrow night, but definitely on Friday right here at the Lakers. Joe is not full of hate. Maybe a quarter or half or 3/4, but not full of hate. He's got some nice in him. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I like it.
All right. Fair enough. At the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Oh my gosh.